And I think we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live watch along between Wales and Ireland. So I'm just trying to make sure that we are all live and that we are all good and that everything is working correctly, which I think, touch wood, it is. We had a lot of problems yesterday with our live watch along, so hopefully we'll have hopefully won't have those issues today. But yeah, just a couple minutes till kickoff. And given the Six Nations weekend we've had, I think we're in for a cracker of a game. I mean, Scotland upsetting England yesterday. France absolutely decimating Italy earlier. Yeah, I think we're in for a very, very good game. And I think that if Wales will be watching the game last night and think, well, you know what? If Scotland can go do that against England, why can't we go and do this against Ireland? And it's a very good side. I mean, they're both very good sides. So the live watch along, there's no reason why Wales can't do a job. But you do look at the Irish side and think that there's just too much quality there for Wales to really compete. But yeah, look, I mean, it's anyone's game. I mean, in the preview, I think I said Ireland by 12. So I'm going to chuck that in the comment section. So let me know what your score predictions are. I'm going to go Ireland by 12. Going Ireland by 12. So check your score predictions in the comment section there. Let me know who you are rooting for, where you are watching from. National anthems over here. So I'm just going to try and share the link out a bit. And then we'll go through the teams and see what we've got to deal with. Such good anthems. This is the biggest, and this is where we really start to miss the fans. Six Nation fans are next level. Watching the fans, the way they dress, listening to the anthems, it really is. I mean, it's on my bucket list to go overseas and actually watch a Six Nations game, because just watching on TV, the atmosphere looks incredible. And I think I need to make sure I get over there and watch a game myself. I'd like to watch in all the stadiums, to be honest. I'd love to see one in the Millennium Stadium, the Aviva, go see a match at Twickenham. I reckon I have to do a bit of a Six Nations tour maybe and just spend 6 weeks in Europe following the Six Nations. Be a lot of fun, actually. Right, so national anthem underway, or an anthem rather. And we got the Welsh one here, and then we will have kickoff in just a few minutes. Or moments, really. Right, early prediction there. Patrick Shaw says Ireland by 24 from Ireland. Well, there we go. Explains why you're going to go. Can't go against the home nation. Any other score predictions? Let me know in the comment section below. Players look up for it, as I said, and such emotional anthems as well. As I said, I definitely need to get over to see all this sort of stuff live. Would have loved to have seen the British Irish Lions this year. Holding thumbs that still goes ahead. Tickets for all 3 tests. And it will be an incredible experience to try and see that. But unfortunately, looking less and less likely that is actually going to happen. But yeah, I'm still going to try and hold on to a little bit of hope that we will see a British and Irish Lions series in South Africa this year. The anthems are underway, in which case let's have a look at the teams for the day. I've been to Viva before to see Ireland versus Wales. As I just loved. I don't even care who the opposition is. Any Six Nations game, watching like the Springboks, the Aviva, or something like that would be. As I said, that's bucket list stuff. But right, let's have a look at the teams for today. So for Wales, working through 15 through 2-1. Lee Halfpenny, one of my favorite fullbacks in the world. I think he's absolutely terrific. Louis Zammit. George North is at centre today. Johnny Williams partners him in the midfield. Hallam Amos is the other wing. Then we've got Dan Biggar at 10. Thomas Williams at 9. Felipe Falata at 8. Justin Tipuric, I mean, we all know what he can do. Dan Liddies gets a start at number 6. Alun Jones, the ever young Alun Jones, captains the side at number 5. He is joined by Adam Beard. Then we've got Thomas Francis, Ken Owens, and Wyn Jones. What's a Welsh side without at least 4 or 5 Jones, eh? And then on the bench, we've got Elliot D, Rodri Jones, Leon Brown, Will Rowlands, Josh Navidi, Gareth Davies, Callum Sheedy, as well as Nick Tompkins. So it's a very good Welsh side there. And then we look at the Irish side for today. Obviously, Jonathan Sexton, the man that will captain the side. But in the back line, we've got Hugo Keenan, Keith Earls, Gary Ringrose, Robbie Henshaw, James Lowe, and then Jonathan Sexton, former World Player of the Year. He is partnered by Conor Murray, another fantastic player. CJ Stander, the South African-born, hard-hitting, lots of physicality from him. Josh van der Flier, Peter Mahoney, James Ryan, Tarek Biener, Andrew Porter, Rob Herring, and Ian Healy rounds up the front row. And then on the bench, just want to make sure we get the kickoff on time, so our clock is up to date. We've got Ronan Kelleher, Dave Kilcoen, Derek Furlong, Ian Henderson, Will Connors, Jameson Gibson Park, Billy Burns, and Jordan Lamar. So Wayne Barnes is the referee today, just waiting on getting all the various technical issues sorted, but the whistle has gone, the timer is a go, and we are away at the Millennium. And Alan Jones gets up and takes it very well. So it's a very good start there from Wales. And now that we have kickoff, it is time to pop a beer. And Wales kicking it early, and Ireland have managed to keep hold of it. Right, share this link out, share. If you are watching, please do smash like. Let's try and get as many people on the stream as possible so we can try and get some really cool conversations over the game. Well taken there. So Wales back in possession. Meanwhile, I'm going to pop a beer here and get going. Right, so we've got JSA saying Wales by 6. 1 for Ireland, 1 for Wales. I'm going to back Ireland here as well, although if anything we can learn from the England-Scotland game is that it could be the weekend of the underdogs. Not that Italy really put up much of a fight, but hey. Thomas Williams goes at the top there. He's been warned there not to take too long at the breakdown. And it's a good take there by Hugo Keenan. And Ireland now on the attack. They're inside Welsh territory. Conor Murray goes over the top. And it's the halfpenny underneath. And it was retained by Ireland, actually, who managed to win back possession. This is a very promising opportunity. Henshaw finds the gap. Gets through there. We'll see that standard, but there is an advantage, and that was obstruction. So, I'm looking a little bit disjointed there early in the attack. Kind of got the ball out and didn't quite know what they were doing with it. So, yeah, after all that, eventually just running into a dummy running, mistiming his run, and it is a penalty to Wales. So, it's a decent start from both sides. Then we're going to see quite a big kicking game throughout the match. So, and that has been kept in. That is brilliant. But I don't know, can't even see who it was. But that's been brilliantly kept in. So Wales with a mistake there early. And the kick chase is well done. Halfpenny turns out of a tackle. He finds some support. And interesting to see the sort of brand of rugby we're going to start seeing from Wales. You know, historically under Warren Gatlin, a very, very physical side. Very difficult to break down. Very good defensively. And we didn't necessarily see that last year. But hopefully we'll try and bring a bit of sort of the traditional sort of Welsh strengths alongside a willingness to run a little bit. And that's, yeah, with nothing to do, Jonathan Sexton tries to put in a grabber through, and he's given his possession back. So Ireland just don't look like they know what they want to do on the attack here. That's a very good run by Tipuric. He held the pass in here. Reece Zammer's gone through. Wales up to the 22. This is good by Wales. They find themselves well in Irish territory. Adam Jones, a bit of a hospital pass. He hangs on though. And there are a lot of Ireland hands all over that. But it is illegal. So Wales have an early penalty, and this would be an interesting chance to go for a 3-pointer and get the scoreboard rolling. Now, good there by Wales. Try to speed up the game. Ireland trying to slow it down. Guilty of, I think it was hands and ruck was the penalty there. Really there by James Lowe early to keep that penalty attempt in field. And it's a very, very kickable position for Wales. So they should have a perfect opportunity now to try and get themselves on the board. So Dan Bigger will have an early chance to try and put Wales on top here. A pretty simple kick right in front of the poles. He's about 3 meters behind the 22, so should have absolutely no issues whatsoever. So in theory, we should have as he kicks. And we do. Wales take the early blood. They go up to 3 points to 0 after 5 minutes, almost on the dot. A good start from the home side. You don't want to give Dan Biggar too many opportunities. A very, very good, accomplished goal kicker. Been through it all. Another very good take from Adam Jones from the kickoff. That's a very important area. If you're going to go and score points early, you need to make sure you retain possession from the kickoff and you can try and re-establish yourself back on the game. That's a very deep kick there from Thomas Williams. He just standing the man underneath it. He goes on a bit of a run, but well tackled there by Andrew Porter. Sorry, not Andrew Porter. Thomas Francis. And now Ireland with a chance to try and get through a few phases. Looks like we're going to go to the boot of Conor Murray. Wasn't much of a much of a chase there. In front of the tower was fairly simple to try and retain that. George North goes to the blind side, cuts inside, takes 2 to bring him down, as it usually does of the man of that size. Dan Bigger goes to the boot. A good effort there by James Lowe. He hasn't retained possession, but Keenan is through. This is better by Ireland. This is better by Ireland. They need a bit of shape to the attack. Better for Ireland. They're starting to put together a few phases. Early on, didn't look like they quite had any sort of identity on attack, but starting to string together a few phases. Herring coming in a decent pace there. Dixon a little bit lateral there. He asked James Lowe to try and make a few meters, which he doesn't. It's been well held up. There we go. Andrew Porter makes a few meters. The progress is not rapid, but there is progress from Ireland so far. Inside ball there for Hugo Keenan. He gets over the line again. Yeah, Ireland looking to keep it alive. They're getting there. They're inside the 22 now. Nice continuity so far. Important now to look after the ball. Well, that's good. There's a bit of an overlap there. Keenan's around the side. He stabs it through and it goes out. So that's not the worst result for Ireland. They find touch inside Wales 22. So Wales will have an early set piece, defensive set piece. But that's a very, very nice start there. Looks like both teams are too eager to kick. They will kick when they need to. But Ireland look like they definitely want to keep the ball in hand and want to try and wear down this Welsh defense early, which is a very nice thing to see because that's what we want to see. We want to see a really competitive game and two teams really going at that. Wasn't the cleanest line out, but it has been retained eventually by, I think it was Mahoney, but there was a knock on. So it will be a Wales scrum. So Ireland actually winning that line out. And they'll now have, Wales will have the put in for the scrum time, but this should also be a very interesting battle. Set pieces in any sort of test match is always a vital part of the game. And we've had our first line out, which Wales have lost. And now within the first 10 minutes, we're going to have our first scrum as well. There's a Wales put in. A fairly solid hit. Not much budging between there. It's a very good scrum. Nothing separating the two sides there. A good kick, which has actually turned Keenan, but he's got a bit of time. He returns the favour. Right up against the touchline is Dan Bigger. Dan Bigger opting to keep that alive. Now James Lowe will also return the favour. So now we've got a bit of a ping-pong battle between the two. Right, they go inside to Halfpenny for a bit of a better angle. He'll probably try and look to find touch. And doesn't. So now Sexton. It's a great take there from Halfpenny. It was a good kick, falling just below the 2 and 2. Halfpenny gets up. Who am I going for? Look, I'm a neutral in the game itself, so I'd probably like to see a Wales win. I always, you got to back the underdog. But when it comes to the Six Nations, look, I don't really have much of a preference, to be honest. Probably France if I had to ask for anyone to win it. But yeah, just hoping for some good rugby. I enjoy watching Ireland. I enjoy watching Wales. That's not a great take there. Ball went up there, and that's been spilled by Keith Earls. Not his finest moment. Yeah, look, to be honest, I'm not really too phased. For me, I'm trying to treat the Six Nations as trying to almost a bit of a British and Irish Lions. That's a terrible take there. Well, not even a take from Keith Earls. Yeah, I'm trying to treat the Six Nations as a British and Irish Lions sort of preview, really. Try and see which players we're going to try and see on the play, and hopefully on the way to South Africa, which players to look out for. So, in that regard, I'd probably be watching Wales, England, Ireland, and Scotland with a bit more sort of interest, really, than in France and Italy. But I mean, you watch France yesterday. It's such a good game. It's such a good team to watch. So. Yeah, I haven't actually watched a full Six Nations, all the matches and stuff like that in many a year. So looking forward to trying to get back into it. It's just always so much rugby around this time. We usually have Super Rugby starting now. Football's in full swing. There's so much sport. It sometimes gets difficult to watch everything. But so you've actually got time off here. So let me get that sorted. So now that we've got less sport happening, hopefully a good time for me to really get back to the Six Nations. That doesn't look good for Lydiate. His knee gave away. He's down at the moment receiving treatment. Not sure if we're going to be able to hang on. Didn't look great in the replay. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. This first Six Nations game in a while is that they're back in the setup and trying to walk it off. Looks like he might stay on, but I don't think we're going to see him for too much longer. It didn't look particularly good. Looked like his knee gave way as he was giving chase. So Navidi is getting ready, although he is being strapped up here, isn't it? So I think it looks like he might be able to continue. So a nice start at the moment. Lots of actually we've seen some very direct, very good kicking. Nice and accurate so far. Haven't seen too many wasteful kicks. When Ireland had possession, they looked to run it quite a lot. Looked to try and keep ball in hand. Wales haven't had too much opportunity to do that. Have taken the early points though through the boot of Dan Bigger. And we will have a Welsh scrum at about the halfway line. The first scrum was very even. Not much separating the two sides. So if that continues, then that'll be interesting because then that creates a nice platform for both sides. When there's not too much go forward from the ball. It just kind of means that what can your backline do versus my backline, which is always nice to see. You know, when there is too much scrum dominance, as if there is such a thing, and you do sort of see a case of every scrum suddenly being a penalty. But yeah, look, it will continue. The clock is back on, and just inside Ireland territory, we're gonna have a Welsh scrum. So let's see what they can counter here. Again, a very solid scrum. Not much budging there. Ireland trying to come through. It's available at the back. And Thomas Williams kicks on behind, and he finds touch on about the 22. So that's a nice result from Wales, who have pinned Ireland back. Ireland will now have a defensive line-out on their 22-meter. Their first line of the game. There's only been one line-out. It was a Wales put in, and Ireland did steal it. So now a chance for Rob Herring to try and find his marker. And they do find the marker. Ireland trying to set up a rolling more here. It's a good shove there from Wales. The call there comes to use it once. They're not going anywhere. And Conor Murray finds touch at about the halfway line. So that's a very big boost for Ireland. It's a good take from the line. It's a nice exit play. So far, nothing much separating the two packs, to be honest. The scrums have been very even. Ireland did steal the first line-out, so Wales will win line-out fairly soon. So they've got an opportunity now to win a line-out. But, yeah, and there it is. It is out, which means that Josh Navidi will be on the field. Fortunately, Dan Neely just not lasting more than 12 minutes. That's very unfortunate for him, just being back. I think it's first Six Nations game in about 5 years, they were just saying now in commentary. So, very unfortunate for him. And, yeah, if for any team, you just don't want somebody getting injured in the first 12 minutes of the tournament. You know, you've had the whole preseason, all your preparations, and suddenly the person you would have backed to have started a lot of games is off. Wales do in the lineup. They bring their backline into play. And as you would expect, bring George North into play. Tipuric now asked to carry. Wales on about the halfway line, middle of the pitch. Sticking with the forwards at the moment. There we go. Thomas Williams trying to bring the backline into play. Not much space to work with, but they managed to hold on to it. Oh, too clever, too clever, too clever. Now Ireland are going to counter. So Tipuric trying to get a bit of a quick ball out there. Knocks it on through George North, and Ireland suddenly have the ball. Backwards there from Conor Murray. Now all a bit stagnant at the moment as Cian Healy takes it on. Okay, we're going to go back on for the knock-on there. So, a bit of ingenuity. Well, trying to be a bit innovative there from Wales. I think maybe a bit too clever. Just trying a couple of offloads. Probably one too many. Wasn't the best pass into George North, who knocked it on. Interesting to see how George North actually goes at outside centre. I mean, we all know how big he is and how prolific of a try scorer he is. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. And yeah, I probably should have held on. Didn't really have his arms out. I don't think he was expecting the pass from Tipuric, actually. So it kind of pops up over the top, and Ireland were very quick to try and counter. We are going to, I'm not sure we're going to go back there. It looks like Peter Mahoney was, ooh, that's an elbow straight to the face. I think Wayne Barnes is having a look at this. This looks like a bit of a cheap shot. You got Thomas Francis, who's sitting in a ruck. And Mahoney comes in, and it looks like it's a shoulder / elbow to the head, which doesn't look particularly good. So Wayne Barnes is having a look at this, and if this is judged to be foul play, I think Peter Mahoney is going to be in a lot of trouble here. Let me stop the timer there. Foul play. There's no mitigating factors there whatsoever. It looks like we're going to see a red card, ladies and gentlemen. I think Peter Mahoney is off here. Yep, the red card is out, and that is a huge blow for Ireland. That is the last thing they need. 13 minutes in, Peter Mahoney is off for a reckless clean out. Yeah, and I think, to be honest, as much as I hate a red card, I think that's the right call. You know, came in, wasn't really cleaning out. Thomas Francis sort of sitting there, couldn't do anything about that. And he's come flying in with his elbow and shoulder, made contact to their head. It is foul play. So what was going to be a scrum has been turned around. It will be a penalty to Wales. And Ireland now down to 14 men for the rest of the game. Yeah, just arm tuck to the side, elbow out there. Not a great challenge. Not a good moment there from Peter Mahoney. And his teammates will not appreciate that. I'm going to get another beer into the cooler box because I think that we are in for a very interesting game. Wales win the line out. Superrick now coming in. So nice quick ball here from Wales, but it has been stolen. Now Ireland can counter. There's a bit of an overlap. Choosing not to use it as Ringrose kicks it into touch. It's in the full. I'm not sure if it took a touch as it went out. Nice quick ball here from Wales. They really are trying to speed up the game, the rate of play, which is probably the right idea, especially now that Ireland are down to 14 men. You want to try and make them do as much as they can. They're going to have to defend extra. They're going to have to commit more because they're going to have to make up for the fact that they're down to 14 men. So, yeah, I think if I'm Wales now, you want to try and speed up the play and try and tie Ireland down as much as you can. Having said that, they just lost their second line out, so that's not going to plan at all. So, scrum so far very even. And in lineouts, Ireland seem to have the upper hand. They've stolen 2 Welsh lineouts so far. So Ireland find touch, well, not find touch, but kick it deep into the Welsh half. And now Wales will try and attack from deep. Navidi gets his first carry and he makes it past the halfway line. Nice good first carry there from the replacement flank. Ken Owens makes some good meter as well. He gets up to the 10 meter, manages to stay in right there by the touch line. Palatana with a good, very quick ball here from Wales. That's a great line. Good defense there. The high tackle though. Now Wales, Digger's got a bit of an out of a gap there. George North gets around this. Wales up to almost, yep, getting up to almost 22 meters. Wales all over the attack here. Ireland are under the cosh here. Palatala, it's a very good run. He gets into the 22. Every single run at the moment seems to be making ground. Good hands there, Wyn Jones. Lee Halfpenny now changed the angle of attack. He's under a bit of pressure. He'll just take contact on the 22. Wales full of confidence here, though. And they've retained it inside the 22. George North makes space. Oh, they can get the pass away. No, they can't. They will go back for the penalty. A bit of space on the right-hand side there. George North trying to sort of get the miracle pass. If it had gone to hand, it would have been interesting, but good defense there from Ireland. And they're going to go back for the penalty for the high tackle. And to be honest, given the way they're playing, if I was Wales, I think I'd go for the line here. Yeah, it's a high tackle there from Henshaw. Oh, no, sorry, it's Sexton. Yeah, I think it just slips up. It wasn't malicious or anything. Penalty is the correct decision. And Dan Bigger will have another go. So, less than 20 minutes to play. So far, everything Wales at the moment. Ireland struggling to get into the game so far. And it's going to be Lee Halfpenny who will take the kick here. It's fairly straightforward. About the 10 meter line. So, I think it's about a 35 meter. In fact, I think it's below the 10 meter. Probably looking to a 35 to 40 meter kick. And with Ireland down to 14 men, could be 6 points down here. And at the moment, it's just all Wales. Yeah, that goes sailing through the middle. Wales go up to 6 points. Ireland nil, and Ireland a little bit shell-shocked, to be honest. I think, you know, a red card is a massive moment. So now it'll be down to 14 men for 65 minutes is a massive ask. So not the start Ireland would have wanted, just the start that Wales would have wanted, though. Are we in for another upset early on in the Six Nations? Faletau, nice good kick there. That's a bit of a mistake there. I don't know if it was a knock-on. Trying to find George North outside of him was a terrible pass, and then it is a knock-on, which has allowed Ireland. And this is what frustrates me. It drives me up the wall. When you go and you score points, you've got the upper hand. Life's going well. And then off the kickoff, you try a 50-50 pass, which is knocked on, and then suddenly you've allowed the opposition right back into your half. They've got an attacking scrum. And if they win a penalty, if they go and score, then suddenly, you've lost that advantage and you're giving them the advantage now. So it's a very frustrating part of the game, which I think if you just get it right, just alleviates so much pressure. But so many teams just can't get it right. And too often, after scoring points, you make a hash of the restart and you've allowed your opposition right back into the game, which is a very frustrating thing to happen. So a big scrum here. Scrums have been very even so far. And we've obviously now got Henshaw, who's coming to replace the absence of Peter O'Mahony, who's been given a red card. And it's another very, very solid scrum. So what can Ireland conjure up from the base of the scrum? Ringrose just carries it up, shrugs off the first tackle. Wales players stay down there. A nice big run by Henshaw, but it's a great tackle there. He gets driven back. Andrew Porter takes it up, not making too much ground share. The Welsh defence standing up strong, as you would expect. Sexton, all a little bit lateral, but it's a good run there. I think it's Ringrose who made a good inroads there. Sexton stabs it behind, and he finds touch. That's a brilliant kick. Nice little stab behind there from Jonathan Sexton. Runs out right by the flag, which means that Wales will start with a 5-metre line-out. And given the fact that Wales have lost 2 line-outs so far, probably a nice net result. But Wales do win it. Not stopping around there. Faletau makes a bit of ground, which will give a decent angle for the clearance. The Wales in their 5-metre. Getting a box kick from Williams. He doesn't find touch. James Lowe will take it up now. And Ireland now using the forwards, but it's so far very good defence by Wales. Ireland are not making too many meters here. Wales have always characteristically been such good defenders. Right, Sexton puts the ball in the air. It's in the 22. So all Wales have to do is catch this, and it's overcooked, and it's marked by Faletau. Not probably the best option, to be honest. I mean, to go to the boot's not the worst option, but just too far from Jonathan Sexton. It's been well taken. The tap's been taken by Lee Halfpenny, who looked for touch on the halfway line, but hasn't found it. Right, Sexton tries again. It goes up. That looks a little bit better. Stays in play and pops out to Ireland. James Lowe's got the ball. He's in the 22. Quick ball here from Conor Murray. Sexton bringing in. There's an overlap if they can get it out. Henshaw takes it up. Ireland now inside the 22. Conor Murray, there's not too much players. Henshaw takes it out there. Good, probably the right option to take contact there. Nobody outside him. Well, there wasn't anyone outside him, but wouldn't have made much difference. It wouldn't have had as much space. All a little bit backwards at the moment. Good rush defence by Wales, who have now forced Ireland back outside the 22-metre. Try to hold him up, but unsuccessful. And I think Ireland have to be patient here. Wales will defend all day if they can. They're a very good defensive side. Ringrose makes a great break. Looked for the pass, but there was nobody outside him. Couple of good passes here. Ireland going from left to right, but not making any progress so far. James Lowe gets into the 22 meters. He makes a few meters. 11 phases so far from Ireland. Inside ball there. CJ Stander. And it's been knocked on. So, after all that pressure, that is brilliant defense from Wales. Left, right, left, and just not making any meters. And that is what Wales have been known to do. They will tire you out just through relentless defending. What a game so far, really. We've seen some good defense so far. We've seen some decent attacking. Seen a couple of good kicks. Yeah, I'll see just trying to make the offload. I don't think it was meant for Jonathan Sexton. Comes off him though, and it is a knock-on. Couple of injuries here. I don't think, as you kind of sometimes come to expect in the early stages of the international calendar. Oh, that's a huge hit. Centre on centre. Williams on Ringrose. A little bit high there from Williams. Not sure they're going to go have a look. He's off for an HIA. Which means that Nick Tompkins is on for Wales. So 2 early injuries, although hopefully Johnny Williams will be back on the field soon. But a massive physical contest so far. Some big hits. Not a lot of meters made. The centres look very busy here for Ireland. Both Henshaw and Ringrose have carried it quite a few times. And then we've got another injury here. James Ryan is also on for a head injury assessment, which means Ian Henderson has taken the field. So a lot of injuries here in the first half. I mean, that's our 3rd player that's gone off for injury. We've obviously got a red card with Peter Mahoney in the bin for the rest of the game. A reset scrum, yeah. So the scrums have been very even. Pretty much nothing separating the scrums itself. Which is interesting, actually. Having dominance in the scrum is always such a big win for any side. But we haven't had too much of that just yet. As we wait for the scrums reset, please do smash a like on the video. I want to try and see if we can get up to 20 likes by half time. Do subscribe if you are new. We're going to be doing live watch-alongs throughout the Six Nations, as well as previews, reviews, you name it, we've got it. So another very solid scrum. And Tompkins' first contribution is a handy run. They've lost the safety of the 22, though. The ball's come out the back, but Dan Bigger is cleaning up. There's no safety for the 22, so he can't kick it out. Now he tries to snipe. It's well read by Alan Wynne-Jones. And it's a penalty for Ireland. If I do get load shedding, thankfully no load shedding today. We did have yesterday, but nothing today, and long may that continue. So that's the first penalty Wales have conceded, the 25th minute there from Ken Owens. And that just shows you the discipline they've had so far in the game. They've defended well, they've made very few mistakes, apart from the lineouts, which haven't been fantastic. But Sexton will now kick this into the corner, and Ireland will try and have a go from that set piece. And the lineouts have been favouring Ireland, so it's probably the right decision. I think for Ireland, the important thing is to try and get to half-time and try and still be in the game. It's going to be a very long game ahead of them with just 14 men. So try and last as long as you can, take the game as deep as you can is important when you have a man down. But having said that, now it's a Wales win the lineout. So we've had 3 lineouts in very interesting positions for both sides, which have been stolen. And Thomas Williams shapes for the box kick. The ball's in play though. Ireland keeping the ball in hand here. That's a fantastic hit. I don't know who that was. Alan Wynne-Jones. That's a brilliant hit. There's a knock-on by Red, so there's an advantage for Ireland, which is probably gone now. They managed to recycle it. Another penalty there from Wales. So Wales just under the cosh here a bit. A little bit of a momentum swing. Ironically, since the red card, Ireland have actually been playing a lot better. And there we go. Jonathan Sexton will have a shot at goal, which is probably the right decision. 27 minutes in. Let me just fix the clock. 27 minutes in. No points on the board just yet. They've had their moments of Ireland, but are down to 14 men. So always going to have to work that a little bit harder. Just seeing a brilliant hit from Alan Wynne-Jones on Hugo Keenan. He just doesn't seem to age. We will be live for all 3 T20s for Pakistan, the South Pakistan series. So we will be live on Thursday for the cricket. Don't stress. We wanted to do live watch-alongs cricket for a while. We just had a few different plans on how to try and make it a bit different. So if you're a cricket fan, make sure you subscribe right now. We will be doing the South Africa versus Pakistan T20 series live as well. And then on the weekends, back to Six Nations action. In Six Nations, we're going to be doing Team of the Week. We're going to be doing a whole review of the weekend. We're doing individual match reviews, all that sort of content. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that you go and get to see all of that. Jonathan Sexton lining up his first effort here. Should be fairly straightforward. It's pretty central in the park itself. Strikes it well. No issue. The flags go up and Ireland on the board. 6-3 after the first half an hour. So it's done. Ireland have done very well. I mean, since going down to 14 men, had the bulk of possession, now got some points on the board. So it's been a good damage control so far. And Wales their first restart of the day, actually. And taking back, which means James Lowe has to thump this downfield but can't find touch. The halfpenny is back. He does have the safety of the 22. James Lowe once again cleaning up. He puts it to the boot again, but once again can't find touch. Doesn't have the safety 22. And unfortunately, that's going to go... Well, it almost went all the way. It lands in the dead ball area, but there will be a restart for Wales. Just too far there from James Lowe. Right, so an interesting half an hour, baby. Not too much to show for the points board. Just the 9 points scored so far. I'm doing well to take that restart. And here they go. Here comes the back line at 6. Ringrose finds a gap. It's eventually brought down by Tupurik, but Ireland straight back into the Welsh half. Porter makes a really good run as well. So far, the last sort of 10-15 minutes have been all Ireland. And if they could score a try before half time, that would be a brilliant result for them. There's an overlap there. Keith Earl goes. James Lowe with next to no space manages to keep it inside. He gets inside the 22. Very good continuity here from Ireland. They've finally managed to make a bit of headway. There's space outside. Still in the 22. Keith Earls goes around. He puts his head down, gets up into within the 22. Some good meters made there. That's a great hit there from the VD, the substitute. TJ Stander now asked to get Ireland a few meters. He does. Wales are still a lot of defending. So far standing strong, but Ireland are making inroads. They're almost up to... That is almost the 5-meter line there. Ireland right on the Welsh doorstep here with 9 minutes left to go in the first half. Always been dropped. It's been deemed to have gone backwards from the looks of it from Henshaw, so they've gotten away with that. They're back on the 22 though. Oh, and that's Falatau all over the ball. Oh, that's been turnover by Wales. Now, actually a bit of an overlap here. Oh, hang on. They're going back and they're going back. Forward pass there from Wales after the turnover. So a brilliant result there from Wales. It will be a scrum. But Wales defense holding out really well. It was a very good turnover. Unfortunately, the pass just drifting a bit forward. Otherwise, the counter-attack was certainly on. But so, I mean, it's all Ireland. Since the red card, it's all been Ireland. It's a great rip in the tackle there from, I think it was Wyn Jones. And then the pass there from George North with the defender right in front of him does drift forward. So Ireland will once again start from the scrum. Scrums have been very even. Very little separating scrum so far. Some big tackles sticks all the way. I mean, Tom Francis made 13 tackles in just 32 minutes. Beard 10, Tipuric 9, Williams 9, and Jones 8. A lot of tackles being made by Wales. Ireland are asking a lot of questions, but so far Wales have been up for the task. So let me just sort out the clock here. There we go. Wales have been asked to make 100 tackles already. Half an hour and 100 tackles have had to be made. Okay, so Ireland will probably get good front foot ball here for the back line. There hasn't been much between the two scrums. As is the same there. We've got a bit of second shove here from Wales. It's the most we've seen between the two scrums. Conor Murray does get it out. And James Lowe takes it up. Henderson makes some good meters. Ireland inside 22. Sexton. Keenan manages to get inside 22 meters. There is an advantage though. Ireland do have an advantage. The forward pass there from Sexton, so they will go back for the penalty. And big decision here from Ireland. They've been all over Wales. 7 minutes to go. Do you go for the line? Do you take the points? What does Ireland do here? They will feel they've got the momentum at the moment, so I'm sure they'll be tempted to take the points. And it looks like they are. Yeah, there we go. Jonathan Sexton points to the polls. Ireland will go for points here. And me, I'm going to open my second beer. Okay, so we're going to come back. Well, we've got a penalty attempt here from Ireland, who have been to the 22 5 times so far. They spent almost 4 minutes in the 22. Just the 3 points so far, but if Sexton gets this kick, which shouldn't be too difficult, about 3 meters to the right of the poles inside the 22. Fairly regulation. Doesn't get much easier than this. And they could level up the scores here with just over 5 minutes left to play of the first half. And a 14-man Ireland have gone from 6-0 to 6-6 if he gets this. Strikes it well, goes souls through the middle, and Ireland are level with points. 5 minutes to go in the first half, and it is 6-6. Ireland down to 14 men, but definitely dominating proceedings in the last sort of 20 minutes, really, since the red card, in fact. And Wales, I think, will need to try. I mean, I can't remember the last time Wales have actually been in the Irish half. So Really well played by Ireland, but Wales need to try and get back into this game. Need a bit of possession, need a bit of territory. They need to put Ireland under pressure. They're gonna have to. They will get tired. But it's well taken by Ireland, well kept, and James Lowe finds touch. That is a fantastic touch find, that. He's found touch almost by the 22 meters. So it will be a Welsh puts him, but that is a tremendous kick from James Lowe, and he's put Ireland right back in a fantastic position. And Ireland have actually won the line out and suddenly on the front foot. They're in the 22 meters. This is a brilliant result by Ireland. They're right back on the attack. A switch on direction here. Henshaw goes inside. He breaks the first tackle. He breaks the second tackle. He comes up short. And they're over. Ireland are over. A brilliant passage of play. From the kick to winning the line out, a fantastic run there by Ringrose. And I think it's James Ryan who's eventually gone over. And I mean, from nothing, really. Henshaw cuts back inside. Van der Vlier almost gets up to the mark. And eventually, it's Taff Burner who goes over. I mean, it's a fantastic inside step. He leaves Tipuric behind. A brilliant offload on the ground. Van der Vlier almost gets there. And some fantastic follow-up play from Taff Burner, who is over. And that is Ireland's, the first try of the game. And Ireland are actually into the lead for the first time in this game. And you can't say they don't deserve that. Ireland, since the sending off of Peter Mahoney, have really upped their game. They've been putting a lot of pressure on Wales, asking Wales to make a lot of tackles. And now they are over for the first try of the game. Not what Wales would have planned to have done it. And I mean, now Ireland are going to go in with a potentially 7-point lead. And I mean, when you think back to the red card and the fact that Wales were all over Ireland at the time, to have said that Ireland were going to go in with a 7-point lead and be the dominating side, I definitely don't think too many people would have called that. Sexton lining up his third kick of the afternoon, probably his most difficult. And he slots the conversion. Ireland move up to 13 points. Wales on 6. 2 minutes to go to the half-time, and a brilliant turnaround from the away side so far. If they can get into half-time with a score, it would be a really, really good comeback from them. After being under the cosh in the early stages, receiving a red card, it all seemed like it was all going one way. But Ireland have turned it around, and they could very well go into half-time with a very deserved lead, to be honest. A good take there from Halfpenny. Right, so now Wales with a minute to go. Can they try and hit back? Try and find some points on the board before half-time? They cannot. It's a turnover there from Ireland, who win a penalty. And with just 40 seconds to go, I'm sure they'll pump this down to Wales territory and try and seal the rest of the half. Yep, and Ireland find touch. It's not the best touch finder. Inside Wales territory, looking at about sort of 5 meters on from the 10-meter line. Good work there from Ian Henderson. Right, so what can Ireland do? What is the plan here? Do they want to try and find a penalty, go for poles? Is it just a case of, I mean, the clock is up and we're down. It is past 40 minutes. So what do they want to do? Wales have actually stolen that, though. Thomas Williams gets up to the 10 meter. So Will Wales have the last laugh of the half? They're looking to keep it alive. Halfpenny cuts inside. He's got support there by George North. And they've won a penalty. That is absolutely brilliant from Gary Ringrose. And now James Lowe's taking it quickly, actually. Neither side want to go into the break. They're keeping this alive. And Ireland can feel the momentum. They want something more. And after all that there, Jonathan Sexton says, thank you very much. We'll go down the tunnel. Ireland 13, massive claps there, applauding his troops. And deservedly so. A brilliant halftime result for Ireland. They lead Wales 13 points to 6. What a turnaround. Thomas Williams receiving a bit of attention. That won't be too good for the Welsh side. Oh, that doesn't look good at all. Looks like Thomas Williams has pulled a bit of a hamstring in that break. He's limping off, so I think we might see a replacement scrum off for Wales in the second half. But a very, very impressive performance there from Wales. I mean, from Ireland, who were under the cosh early. It was all Wales. Wales got 2 penalties. There was then a red card to Peter Mahoney, but since then, Ireland have been all over Wales. They've got to try. They've got 2 penalties. They are in the lead, 13 points to 6, and you can't really fault the effort at all. Right, if you're watching and you would like to join the conversation, please do join our Discord. I'm going to check the link in the description, in the comments right now. We use that link we're going to use our Discord to have people on for halftime chats, for pre-match chats and stuff like that. We want to try and get more fan voices on the channel itself. So do join the Discord. Come and be a part of the conversation. Get yourself up on the show during the live watch-alongs. When eventually we start doing more sort of fan cam stuff like that, you can be part of that as well. So make sure you do join the Discord. Put the link in the comments and I'll pin it as well. Right, let's find some stats for the half. Right, so looking at some of the match stats, and it might surprise you actually, we've got 61% possession for Ireland and 64% possession. That's, territory, and that just shows you how, despite going down to 40 men, they really have been dominating Wales. It was almost like a wake-up call, you know, where they went down to 40 men and then suddenly decided to start playing. And look, credit to them, because it can be very difficult when you do go down to 40 men. It's very easy for your heads to drop and start thinking, well, this is going to be a long game. But Ireland have done quite the opposite, where they've decided, well, you know what? Despite that, we're going to continue going, and we're going to back ourselves. And they have. And as a result, they go to halftime with a very good lead. Right, time in possession, pretty even. 9 minutes, 49 seconds for Wales. 9 minutes, 46 seconds for Ireland. Time spent in the opposition 22, just 20 seconds for Wales, almost 4 minutes for Ireland. The time in the opposition half, Wales has spent just 5 minutes inside Irish territory, whilst Ireland has spent 10 minutes and 44 seconds in Welsh territory. In terms of possession, opposition half, Ireland has spent 81% of their possession in Wales territory, whereas Wales just had 66 possession inside Ireland territory. In terms of some of the ones, one knock-on from, there's been 5 handling errors each, 1 knock-on, a lot of forward passes, too many forward passes. I think that'll probably be something both sides will want to try and cut out. Breakdown steals, there's been 3 from Ireland, none from Wales. The ruck recycle rate is dominated by Ireland. I think that's the important thing, is that they are getting some quick ball, but also making sure they win the ball on the ground. Their players are very rarely isolated. They've got a lot of good support there at the breakdown, getting the ball out nice and quickly. We had 3 line breaks from Ireland, none from Wales. 6 turnovers, 1 from Ireland, just the 1 from Wales. 7 missed tackles from each, although Wales have been asked to make 123 tackles to just the 52 tackles of Ireland. So a much better defensive effort there from Wales. But that's you come to expect from the Welsh side. They've always been a very good defensive side, very tough side to break down. You've got to really stick to it. You've got to try and break them, try and grind down Wales, and that has been the case so far today. Line breaks, we've seen 3 from Ireland, none from Wales. In terms of the set pieces, 100% scrum success rate for both sides. 3 lineouts, 1 for Wales, 1 for Ireland, but 3 steals from Ireland and 1 steal from Wales. So lineouts are pretty even, to be honest. Not much separating either side. Probably something that they'll both want to try and sort out as soon as they can, because it can become a bit of a problem if you're losing very important lineouts at very important stages. Please do put your full-time predictions in the chat. I think with 13-6, we said Ireland by 12, which I don't think is a bad shout so far. If you were to double those scores, it would pretty much be that. So I'm going to stick with my 12-point prediction. But let me know what you think in the comments. Chuck your predictions there as well. Let me know who you are supporting. Let me know where you're watching. In terms of penalties conceded, 5 conceded by Wales and 4 conceded by Ireland, so pretty even there. So yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely also pointing towards one-way traffic from Ireland, and I think Wales will be frustrated because for a lot of the game they were really in it, they were on top of it, and then literally they got a red card, got a penalty, took the 3 points, and you would have thought that Wales would have tried to kick on, but they actually really struggled after that. So I think if I'm in the Wales camp, you're probably sitting there saying, listen, what we did in the first 15 minutes where we put them under so much pressure, let's go back and let's do that. Let's go and try and wear them down. I mean, for a side with 14 men to have asked Wales to make 123 tackles, you really need that to be the other way around. If Wales, you need to grind down this Irish side. They're having to do, every player is having to pick up extra work because there's a one-man overlap. They're going to have to work a lot harder on the wings and on the sides there. So test them, get the possession and run at them. Try and find the gaps. There will always be a gap. There's a one-man overlap. That's what happens with the numerical advantage. You need to start using it. But at the moment, the one-man advantage hasn't been noticed because Wales have been doing all the defending. I think it needs to change for the Welsh side if they are to try and get something from this game. But for Ireland, I think they'll be saying, well, what we've just been doing, we need to keep doing it. Keep ball in hand, keep possession, don't give possession away. Don't let them attack us. We understand that we need to try and do more work, so let's try and do as little work as possible. And that is the best way to do that, is to just keep attacking, keep ball in hand. Nothing like a beer on a Sunday. Da, 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 da. Busy watching the highlights of the England versus Scotland game. What a game that was. I mean, Scotland just completely outclassed England. I mean, really couldn't have too many complaints about that. And I think that, England had their chances, didn't really take them though. And yeah, look, you can't really say much about it apart from the fact that, I mean, Scotland just looked hungry at the entire game. As I said, please do join our Discord channel. That is where we find we like to have fans before the game, during half time. Like now, we're going to try and have fan chats during the half. yeah, I want to try and have halftime chats with fans. Maybe try and get fans from both sets of supporters in, see what they reckon, see what they've got to say. That is the plan. But we will be joining from the Discord group, so make sure you go and join it right now. The link to the Discord is pinned in the chat. Da, 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 da. Right, I think we'll chuck our full-time predictions. What are my full-time predictions? 13-6. I want to go with 20 points to 12. That's what my full-time prediction is. Let me know what your full-time prediction is in the comments below. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Should have kickoff for the second half in about 3 minutes, I reckon. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ah. 6-13, a very well balanced game. A very nice game of rugby, to be fair. Both sides looking to run a little bit. Ireland looking probably the better side. But Wales had their moments, and I think if they can just take the moments a bit better and try and build on the small battles, then I reckon they're definitely still in the game. No reason why they can't go and do something. Yep, you've got Ireland running back onto the pitch. So kick off just in a few more moments. It'll be Ireland playing right to left now. Right, let's get our commentary sorted, and we are almost back underway. So, 40 minutes. Who will reign supreme at the Millennium Stadium? Will it be Wales or will it be Ireland? Ireland have a 7-point lead. They also only have 14 men, so you would have to say it's pretty evenly balanced, to be honest. If you're watching, please do smash a like. Remember, we want to try and get up to 20 likes by the end of the game. All right, let's make sure our timer is nice. There we go. We've got time. And Dan Bigger gets the second half underway. He kicks deep. And CJ Stunder is the man under the ball. He cleans up well. And Conor Murray will kick for touch. He keeps it infield. Halfpenny right up on the touchline. Good early stuff from there from the Wales. They're going through a few phases here. Trying to get themselves on the front foot. I think if Wales can score early, they'll take a lot of confidence out of it. So quite important for them to get some nice early momentum. George North, haven't seen too much of him. You know, as somebody that size, you probably want to try and get involved in the game as much as possible. Good tackle there from Jonathan Sexton. But Wales are making progress. They get up into Ireland territory about the 10-meter line. But it's been ripped in the tackle. Keenan kicks ahead, and Wales and I start all over again. So not the best result. Alan Jones is back. He does well. Support eventually returns, and Wales have got possession, but they're well back inside their own half. Using the force to get a little bit of forward momentum, but I'm probably will shape the kick here. But it's been turned over again to Ireland. Suddenly Ireland have got possession inside Wales territory. Henshaw's been really good. He makes progress again. Thunder makes a few meters, but Navidi's all over him. Tries to go for the steal, but misses the... Alright, Sexton puts in the kick behind. Oh, and he's kicked it into touch. That's a really, really poor mistake there from Jonathan Sexton. Ireland all over them, and his kick has seemed to have sliced off the side of his boot, and he's found touch on the full, which means they'll come back for a Welsh line-out. So, a bit of a frantic start there. Both sides turning over the ball and having a go. Look, I mean, protecting possession is going to be important for both sides here. You can't afford to just lose possession that easily. Wales have won the line-out. I think they've got an advantage here as well. Tipuric Oil has almost finds a little bit of a gap off the side of the ruck, but concedes a penalty. So Ireland get away with an early penalty there. A lot of players down injured, by the way. Injuries have played quite a big part. We've had two players get HIA. One player literally was off early. Obviously, Peter Mahoney's off for the rest of the game with a red card. Shake of the head there from Wayne Pivak. He's not happy with what he's seen. And I think, rightly so, I think Wales have had opportunities that just don't seem to be protecting the ball well enough. George North puts his head down there. But Rob Herring's in there. Right, so penalty conceded. Ireland has not conceded a penalty since the 20th minute. So it's been all Wales, really, who have been conceding penalties since the, as I said, since the red card. It literally has been all Wales. I mean, all Ireland, sorry. Okay, time on over here. And Sexton finds touch. Going for the safer option. Didn't get too much distance there. Finds touch on the 10-meter line inside Wales territory. But a big opportunity early on for Ireland to try and sort of stamp their mark on the half itself. And win the line up there. Go to the side and make a little bit of progress here. They get up past the 10-meter line. Again, really trying to sort of up the ante here. Trying to get quick ball here. Trying to keep going. Trying to put a lot of pressure on the Wales early on. They're on the 10-meter though. The Wales defensive line has been very good. Conor Murray puts in a kick in behind. It's too far there. It's a bit of a waste, to be honest. John Lee hopping. I mean, why do that? I just don't understand why you do that. You've got some forward momentum, and then you just... I know it wasn't like it was just. That was well in the 22. Give to a possession right back to Wales, who granted kick right back. And now Sexton has turned Wales, but the ball bounces favorably. And now Wales kick once again. Also down the middle of the pitch, so nothing too much to speak of just yet. James Lowe returns the favour, so a bit of a kicking battle at the moment. Right, Keating goes up. There's a bit of a kick and chase here, trying to keep it alive. It's a very good take there. It's a great tackle. I think it's on Dan Bigger. But Wales have retained possession. Oh, that's the high tackle. That's not a great tackle. Arm out check for Wales. Yeah. So we'll go back for the penalty. A bit disjointed, to be honest. High tackle there. They'll go back. Wales had the penalty. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of kicks there between there. And Wales finally trying to keep it alive. And that's just lazy, to be honest, from... Yeah, it's not a great tackle, to be honest. So Rob Herring just guilty of just being lazy, to be honest. So Wales with a nice chance now to try and put some points on the board. They found touch inside Ireland territory. The lineout hasn't been great though, to be honest. They have struggled a little bit when it comes to the lineout. So well, they won the lineout. Fuller now gets them past the 22 meters. Navidi fills in at half scrum off, which he has. Just an update there. We do have Gareth Davies on the field for Thomas Williams, who was injured in the first half. And Wales have knocked that on. And Ireland will have the scrum. So this pretty much sums up Wales at the moment. You know, a lot of positivity, but just... And that's Falataro. Takes his eyes off the ball as it comes and just knocks it on. Pretty poor from him, to be honest. I think that kind of sums up the Wales. There's been a lot of good, but equally as much bad, to be honest. So we have another scrum here in the first 7 minutes. Scrums have been, as I said, very, very even throughout the entire match. Not much to speak of between the two, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, we still haven't seen either side budge. And again, a very, very even scrum. With second shove there from Wales, so Ireland get it out quickly. And Ringrose makes another good run, and then trying to make the pass, he's knocked it forward, lost the ball forward. Wales have, however, kept possession, so they're on the attack here. That's 22. Probably they went the wrong way. They went towards the right-hand side, which had no support. Thankfully, support does arrive eventually. Now, penalty advantage for playing the scrum off from the looks of it. Navidi, that's a great pass. And he's gone through. He's through. And he's over. Wales have scored. That is brilliant from George North. Something out of nothing. They had the advantage for the penalty and went to the other side and just almost couldn't believe how the defense kind of parted in front of him. And George North goes over. A brilliant effort from him. And that is his 42nd try for Wales. What a player George North is. And this is why, you know, the best players, despite maybe not doing much throughout the game, given the chance, and off he goes. Ringrose loses the ball, but it's kept alive. And he just, it's a good offer there from the VD. And there's a mismatch. And George North goes straight through the middle. Got the pace, got the power. And just too good there for Ireland. And Wales are over. 11-13 with the kick to come. We have got a game on our hands. "21 tries in the Six Nations for George North. What a player he is. So Lee Halfpenny, 37 meters on the angle. Third kick of the day. He slotted both his kicks in the first half. Not the best kick there from him. Goes down to the right. So it will remain Ireland in the lead. 11-13. But a positive opening 10 minutes for Wales. And they're right back in the game. A penalty will put them in the lead. So, anyone getting it at the moment? I'll tell you what, Josh Navidi came on quite early for Dan Niven. He has been tremendous. He's filled in a scrum off a couple of times. Been a really good offload game. Tried to effect a couple of steals. And he created the try. Brilliant offload by him before George Neal had a little bit of space, and that's all he needed. And that's amazing. You know, Wales regathered the kick really well, fine touch, and suddenly try a moment like that, and suddenly your confidence just starts boosting. And all of a sudden, Wales is looking a little bit more positive. The body language has shifted a little bit. We've got Ian Healy is off. Dave Kilcoyne is on. Good line up there, and Ireland has splintered. And they continue going, and they're still going. That's a fantastic line up there. Quick ball there from Conor Murray. It's a very good take there from Jonathan Sexton. But it's been turned over, and oh no, that's a poor error. That's a poor error. A brilliant turnover, and then he's kicked it straight into touch, which has gifted it all back to Ireland in a very good position. That's frustrating. I mean, a fantastic turnover from Tipperick. Comes back, and they just kicked it straight into touch. So it was almost the perfect moment, but not the best kick there from Hallam Amos. And unfortunately, unfortunately for Wales, Ireland straight back on the attack. Right, so we've got time off here, so let me just sort out this clock. Jonathan Sexton, you don't want to see him receiving too much treatment. He's been injured a lot lately, struggling with a lot of injuries. So the last thing you want to see with Jonathan Sexton is him receiving treatment. Let's hope he can continue because he's a massive part of the Irish cog. Massive cog of this whole Irish system, I suppose. I should say. Yeah, so a big call you have to make from Ireland. Jonathan Sexton, definitely not happy. He's had struggled with a lot of injuries. Now they're going to make the decision whether they're going to continue with him or take him off. Oh, there's a good contest there, but Ireland do win the ball back there. They missed the chance to set up more there. Another good start run there from Henshaw. The centers for Ireland have been brilliant. Both Ringrose and Henshaw have been really, really good ball carriers so far. Blackburn with a decent run. Ireland up to within the into the 22 of Wales. Just sticking with the forwards here, going right to left here. Right, now Jonathan Sexton brings in Van der Fleer. Outside 22 now, starting to make a little bit of headway. Sexton switches the angle as Keith Earl comes in. But no meters made there. And it's a penalty for Wales, in fact. That's brilliant from Wales. And this is what they do. Such a good defense. So difficult to break down. Not finding any momentum there. Not finding any yardage. Just going from left to right and being held exactly where they are. And then winning the penalty. And they'll be able to kick deep. But I must say that both Irish centres have been very good today. Both Henshaw and Ringrose have made a lot of meters. Carried the ball well. Put their hands up whenever their team needs something. Try to add a little bit of spark to the game. I've been very impressed with both of them. And having said that, it looks like Henshaw's off. He will have an HIA. So we've got Tag Furlong who's on as well. So here come the benches for both teams. Right, so Billy Burns is on. And unfortunately, I think probably not what Ireland would have wanted, but I think Jonathan Sexton might have to play the full 80 just because of the amount of injuries in and around the park. A lot of injuries in the first game, which doesn't bode well too much for the tournament. Wales go to the side here. Well cut in there from Amos. They make some good ground here. Wales into the Irish half. It's a very, very good tackle on him. He gets the ball away, but Ireland have turned it around. Keith Earl's now the man. Tries to clean up, and Ireland inside their own half got the ball back. Our CJ Stander makes a few meters, but still inside their own half. And there it comes from Murray. He puts in the box kick. It's pinpoint perfect, but Wales do win it. There is a knock-on advantage, I believe. The Wales are slowing things down a little bit, trying to sort of get their structure back into play. Right, Gareth Davies puts his kick in. Wales, Ireland opt not to kick it. They're taking the contact. Conor Murray is shaping for the box kick. It is what he does best. That's a great take there from Gareth Davies. He's been taken out in the air. Nothing malicious there. He wins the penalty. A brilliant take there. It was a very good box kick from Conor Murray. It is one of his best parts of his game. And a good contest there. But Gareth Davies goes up. And Keith Earls, yeah, just plays in there. You can't really have much to complain about, to be honest. So nothing dangerous in there. It is a penalty. Right, so Wales find touch inside Ireland territory. They're on the 10-meter line. They'll probably need to score next, to be honest. But they've lost it again, and Ireland kicked deep. And this is the problem with Wales, I think. Just the lineouts have been their biggest issue. Every single time they're into a good position, they've done it several times, and they've lost possession. However, having said that, well, they're going to have a second chance here. I think it was out in the full was the issue. Yeah, kick straight out in the full. So suddenly, and this time they go short and they do win it. Now here comes the maul here from Wales. Making progress steadily. The call's probably going to come soon, but they are getting forward there. It's coming right around. Probably want to get the ball out here. Tipperix the man with the ball at the back. There is an advantage. So now the backline can do what they want, really. Oh, it's a great read there by Keenan on Leap Halfpenny, and they'll go back for the penalty. A brilliant read. Defensive read there from Ireland. They're going to go back for the penalty, and they'll probably have to go for the lineup, but the lineup has just not really worked for Wales, to be honest. So, yeah, big moments here in the game. A brilliant read there from Keenan, because I think if he hadn't tackled and hadn't rushed up and made the tackle on Lee Halfpenny, I think it could have been very, very interesting. We've got another injury here. Wyn Jones is down. He's limping, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a replacement on for him quite soon. Just 2 points separating the side. The biggest deficit has been 7 points so far. It's been a very, very close game. Much like the England-Scotland game yesterday. It really has ebbed and flowed quite nicely. Right, so Wales shaping up for the line. They're on the 5-meter line. A good maul, and they can go over and try and score their first try of... Sorry, their second try of the day. Okay, no more. They're trying to take us immediately up. Okay, so we got a penalty advantage here for Wales. That gives them a bit of license. Oh, it's a great thing, and they're over, and Wales do go over. What a try. Brilliant finish. Off to the side there. Louis Remus is the man that goes over eventually. They're going to have a look, but I think he's got that down. That shouldn't be an issue there. Wayne Barnes is saying we're going to have a look, but I think Wales are over for their second try of the game. And if it is, then they will go into the lead. Okay, so we're going to have a look here. There is a high tackle advantage, but I do think that Wales have got this. Reece Hammett, he goes over, gets his feet up. That's a brilliant finish. A masterclass finish there from Reece Hammett. Does everything right. Knows the tackle's coming, gets his legs up off the ground, goes over. Wales are over, and Wales are in the lead. With an advantage. It's a good hands there from Lee Halfpenny. There is an overlap there. It required some good hands. The good hands came. Good from North, good from Halfpenny, really good hands there. And unfortunately, just too much to do for the Irish defence. And Reece Hammett is over. Wales are in the lead, and Halfpenny will have the opportunity to try and extend that lead up to 5 points. A very important kick, this, actually. Right, Halfpenny with the conversion attempt. It's looking good. It's looking good. That is Lee Halfpenny at his best. Wales 18, Ireland 13, 21 minutes left to play. I'm going to update the clock there. But it is Wales who lead Ireland in the second half. Will we have another upset in the first weekend? I mean, I think this just shows you how close the Six Nations could be. I mean, you've got it. I mean, France, you put in that masterclass yesterday, but I think England are still a good side. But Scotland show that they can beat England. Now, they can beat England. Can they go and beat Wales and Ireland? You know, if Wales can beat Ireland, who else can they beat? I think we're in for a really good Six Nations. There comes TJ Thunder. Oh, that's a huge hit on his opposite number 8. TJ Thunder has just put Falatau on the floor. Sit down, Stan. See you next week. And now Sexton's through. Here comes Ireland trying to up the tempo. They want to try and hit back immediately. There's an overlap here. James Lowe's around. Almost made the pass, but it would have been forward. Oh, I think he's lost it in the right. I think the referees have missed it. No, there was a knock on. So a good return there. James Lowe just unfortunately losing the ball in the contact, but Ireland with a nice sort of response to that try. Yeah, just loses forward in the ruck. It's the right decision. Referee's actually been very good. Very few. Oh, jeepers. That's a huge hit on Falatau. I mean, CJ Thunder at full strength. Lights up. Oh, and that's just, I mean, number 8 on number 8. Shrugs of Tippering as well, just to rub salt into the wounds. A massive hit from CJ Thunder. I mean, look, Falatau is not a small player to put on the floor, and CJ Thunder did that with ease. To be honest, I think if I had to choose players, I would least like to run into me. CJ Thunder pretty much would probably be pretty up there, to be honest. So we have got stoppage and time here, so let me just amend the clock. We're going to start with a scrum here. I think it's the first scrum we've actually had in the first half, in the second half. The scrums have been very even the entire game. I don't imagine too much to change just yet. We've had no scrum penalties or anything like that. Well, we have got a bit of a dump. Wenbon says that it's available, so they use it. Tompkins makes a few meters. And Gareth Davies puts it onto the boot quite quickly. Wales will want to play the territory game. They've got 18 minutes to try and see out the lead. So territory will mean everything for Wales at the moment. Now Sexton puts the ball up in the air. It's very high, but there's not much of a kick chase. Good take there from Gareth Davies. Support does arrive, so they do retain possession. Right, Gareth Davies now putting it back up. James Lowe under the ball. Very, very good take there from the Irish Although there is a penalty from Wales, I think it's for obstruction. This is actually probably kickable. So a big moment in the game here. We've got obstruction. Wales have got a penalty inside Ireland half, right on the touchline, about 5 meters in. Yeah, Conor Murray just guilty of changing his angle and therefore creating an obstruction. So a big call here from Wales. And Dan Bigger has been asked to go and put this into touch. So Wales, they won all 5. They won all 5. They want to try and score another try. If they do, that could be game over, to be honest. Henshaw is back on the field, though. He's passed his HIA. That's a big boost for Ireland. He's been very good the entire game. So first things first, have they won the line? They have won the line. Alan Jones makes a very good run. Good momentum here from Wales. They're up to the 5 meter. Oh, have they lost it? Have they lost it? No, there's a penalty. Now, this is very kickable. This, I'm sure they'll put over. Yeah, I think we're about to see 21-13 here. That's not a great penalty to concede right in front of the poles. They already indicated. And Tad Byrne, yeah, unfortunately, just from the side. Yeah, not part of the tackle. Comes through. It's a bit of a... Yeah, comes from the side there. Can't really argue too much about that. So 15 minutes to go, and Wales can extend their lead up to 8 points. Very straightforward kick here. And so are we going to see another upset? I said Ireland by 12. It doesn't look like that. Suddenly that one-man disadvantage that they've got starts to come into play, really. Good strike there from Lee Halfpenny, and he adds the 3 extra. Right, 15 minutes to go. Wales 21, Ireland 13. Get your beers out. This is going to be a good finish. And another good take from Alan Jones. He's been exceptional from the restart. And Gareth Davies puts in the kick there. It's right on the touchline. Good take there, but it's a good follow-up there from Navida. I've been very impressed by him. Came on early in the game, as did James Navida, and he's been fantastic. Been everywhere in the pitch. Right, Ireland now with a penalty advantage. Conor Murray chips it over the top. Tipper takes the catch, and they'll go back for the penalty. Right, so big move for Ireland. They need to try and get into the Welsh half and try and score a try. A try is not enough, though, so they need to allow themselves enough time to try and get back there, find a penalty or something. 8 points is the lead at the moment. And that's a huge moment. Jonathan Sexton has just missed that penalty completely. Wales have returned it, and Ireland, who could have had a line out well inside Welsh territory, are now going to have a line out inside their own territory, and that is very uncharacteristic. A poor penalty attempt from Sexton. Maybe trying to get a little bit greedy, trying to get as far up as he can down that right-hand side, but he doesn't find touch. And you've got a change here for Wales. Callum Sheedy is on. Don't know who on for. Good line there from Henshaw. He gets himself into the Welsh territory. Good momentum. That's a very good wraparound. Good pass here from Sexton. Ireland have made some good ground here. This is better from Ireland, making a bit of progress. They are past the 10-meter line inside Welsh territory. Looking a lot better. Sexton changes his line. He comes inside. Okoye does make a few meters. And Jonathan Sexton is down. That's not good to see. James Lowe makes a good run. Can't get the offload away, but he's almost up to the 22 meters. Right, so Ireland currently playing with 13 men. Jonathan Sexton is down at the moment. Much better defense from Wales. They're nice and organized now. Now Ireland's starting to make a bit of make some ground rather. Okay, and Wayne Barnes has stopped the game there. He wants to go and find out what's happening with Jonathan Sexton, who is down. Oh, that's not good. He just smashed his head against Justin Tipperick's knee. Okay, so Jonathan Sexton is getting a bit of attention. We've got 11 minutes to go. So far, Wales with an 8-point lead. Bit of a shake of the head there from Sexton. I mean, an amazing tackle count here from the Welsh side. You got Francis at 19, Tipperick 19, Avidi 16, Owens 15, and Jones 15. I mean, it's been an immense. I mean, if Wales win this game, a monumental defensive effort from them. They've been brilliant on the defense all game. This doesn't look good for Sexton. It looks like he's off. Right, so he's off on edge. I don't think we're going to see him again, though. I think that's the end of Jonathan Sexton's game. Right, so the Ulster fly-off is on. Billy Burns. Can he create something in the last 11 minutes, try and get Ireland over the line? He needs to create a lot. One try is not enough. A try and a penalty will do it, though. A converted try and a penalty will do it. A non-converted try and a penalty will just level the scores. Right, so we're going to resume with an Ireland scrum. So if there was ever a time for a big Irish scrum, this is it. You've got Henshaw on the side there, filling in. Peter Mahoney was red carded in about the 15 minutes. So bear that in mind. Ireland have been playing most of this game with 14 men. And once again, it's a very, very solid scrum. CJ Stander uses it. Billy Burns goes to the middle. He gets up past 22 meters. A great run from him. Quick ball here from Ireland. Tag Furlong gets some momentum. This is great here from Ireland. Henshaw makes some ground. Almost up to the 5 meter. Really good quick ball here from the Irish. Ringrose carries it up. He's held up though. Welsh defense well set. This is where it gets difficult for Ireland. Conor Murray gets smashed in the tackle. Alan Wynne-Jones got his hands all over that. Ireland have got an advantage. That's what they want. A penalty will get themselves within the try's reach. Ooh, Billy Burns tries to grab it ahead. But Dan Bigger does clean up. They'll go back for the penalty. Now, decision time. Do Ireland take the 3 points and try and get themselves back into the half? Do they go for the try? Big decisions to make here. If they want to win the game, they need a try. Whether it's now, whether it's at the end, they need a try. A converted try and a penalty does get them a win. This doesn't look good for Rees Ahmed. He's holding his wrist there. Looks like it's been kicked. So Petit for the youngster, just 20 years old. A great try scored earlier. And that doesn't look good for him at all. So the time is off. Right, it's a big decision here for Ireland. Are they going to go for the 3 points? Looks like it. I think Billy Burns is holding a tee. Yeah, they are taking the points. They're going to get themselves in the tries worth. Okay, so Billy Burns going to have a shot at goal here, which will put them within 5 points. So it means they will be a converted try away from winning the game potentially. Probably the right call. No issue there. So Ireland coming within 7 points. Within a try, a converted tries reach of winning the game. 21-16. As we enter the last 8 minutes, it all comes down to 8 minutes. What are we going to see? Let me know in the chat. Who are you backing? Can Wales hang on? Can Ireland, a 14-man Ireland, can they produce something special? Also, do please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new for all the Six Nations content that is coming up over the next few weeks. Good take there from CJ Stander. Right, now Ireland have got 8 minutes to get themselves into Welsh territory and try and score a converted try if they are to win. The draw is pretty much off the cards. No, I lied. It's 5 points. Oh, sorry. A draw is very much on the card. An unconverted try will draw the game. A converted try will win it. Great tackle there. The box kicker is given possession back to Wales. And they look like they just want to use it. I'm sure that's what they'll do. The Wales will just try and grind the game out. There's no need to kick possession away, despite the fact that Gareth Davies is shaping up for a box kick. The good kick is right on the edge there. But Wales have kept possession. It's a good chase. It's a bit messy, but Tuparek eventually emerges with the ball. And they've conceded a penalty. Now Ireland can get themselves back into Welsh territory. This is going to be a very, very tight finish. Right, so now time off again. More injuries here. A lot of injuries across the game. Hasn't been the most free-flowing game from that regard. Right, so Ireland have got 6.5 minutes to get into Welsh territory, score a try, and convert to win. An unconverted try will see them draw the game. A good touch finder there from Billy Burns. It's been a great contest. Really, really close. Proper Six Nations rugby here. Okay, so Ireland have won the line out. They're on the 10-meter line. They have to score and convert to win. Henshaw once again asked to carry the ball up. Ringrose again makes a good meters. Those two have been fantastic. I think the best way to describe this performance from Ireland is just heroic. I mean, 14 men Ireland, since the 15 minutes, they played most of the game with a one-man disadvantage, and yet they've matched Wales toe to toe the entire game. And if they can win with 14 men, can win the game, they'll take a lot of confidence out, even if they just get within the still remains. The fact is, they were very close and kept themselves in the game against Wales, despite having a one-man disadvantage. Oh dear. Billy Burns attempting the cross kick, and he goes into touch directly, so that's a bit of a let-off there for Wales. Could that have been an opportunity missed? 4.5 minutes left here for Wales to see out the game. Andy Farrell, the Irish coach, can barely watch. Less than 5 minutes for Wales to see out. It will be a huge win for them. A side which, since Gatland have left, have kind of struggled a little bit for their identity. Not quite the side which made them Grand Slam champions. Struggled a little bit since Gatland left, but are suddenly looking a lot better. Probably should have put the game to bed, though. I think a little bit disappointing that they've made it this difficult for themselves, given the fact that they have had a one-man advantage. They have won a penalty here, which is a big moment. And this will allow them to kick right into Irish territory and just... Not the best touch finder, but it is a touch finder. That'll run down a bit on the clock. 3.5 minutes remaining for Wales to seal a first win in the first game of the Six Nations for them. They're in the line. I'm trying to set up a rolling maul here. It's getting a little bit messy. Splinters across. I think Wales still have possession though. And Ireland have won the scrum there. Alan Jones is not happy about that at all. But there is a turnover ball. Right, so Ireland have 3 minutes to try and win the scrum. And try and get all across the other side of the park and score a try. Can they do it? It's a big ask. It's a big ask. Okay, so can the Welsh defence hold out Ireland for another 2.5 minutes, really? 3.5 minutes. Wyn Jones, the man who's been elected man of the match, made so many tackles, really, really worked hard. As did most of the Welsh pack, to be honest. James Lewis got a bit of space. He cuts inside, he gets up to the 10-metre line. Gibson Park has a bit of space. He gets past the halfway line. Lowe fills in at half back. All very last for the Ireland. 1.5 minutes left. They're running out of time. It's a really good defence here so far from Wales. Now they get to the back line. There's a bit of an overlap. Oh, it's been spilled. It's gone forward. It's gone forward. There is a knock on. That could be the game. With just over a minute to go, Ireland have knocked it on and Wales will have a scrum. I think by the time the scrum is finished, we probably will have time up. It looks like that is it. Wayne Pivac, enjoy that. This will be a huge win for him in his coaching career. "30 seconds here. I reckon by the time we've had the resets and stuff like that, which are almost inevitable, we probably will have full time. 30 seconds for Wales to win the game. It's been solid. It hasn't been pretty. It's been a defensive effort from Wales rather than an offensive effort. The 14-man Ireland side really did stand up proud and worked very hard, but just weren't clinical enough against a very solid Welsh defense. That's a weird call. Gareth Davies puts in the grabber and gives the ball back to Ireland. I mean, if he had just kept that ball on by now, he could be kicking it out. Not sure what the thinking there was from Gareth Davies. I can almost hear a few calls from I think it was only players who were a bit in disbelief there. And suddenly Ireland are back on the attack and Wales have to defend. Okay, so there's a knock on. Okay, so it's a knock on here from Wales. They're going to go check if it's deliberate. If it is deliberate, it will be a penalty. And I can go kick. I mean, Gareth Davies, what are you thinking, mate? With 20 seconds left to burn, decides to put the grabber through. The strangest decision I think we've seen in the Six Nations so far. Right, it's trying to decide if it's a deliberate knockdown from Nick Tompkins. And it is. It's a penalty. Ireland have a penalty. They can go and kick down deep. Gareth Davies will not be particularly popular at the moment. Could have seen the game out, decided to grab her ahead, and has given them away straight back into the game. Suddenly, Ireland have a line on the halfway line. So a game which should have been dead and buried has been kept alive here by Gareth Davies. Ireland have won it. Can Ireland create something special here? Has Gareth Davies given them a chance in the game? Ireland up to the halfway line. But the Welsh defence still holding up very firm. They can't make it past the halfway line, as is the defence of Wales so far. And they've been driven back up to 10 metres. This is brilliant by Wales. The defence is just too good. Oh, that's a big break. Ringrose gets us out. He gets brought down by Tupac. He's alone. He's isolated. But Ireland up to the 22 all of a sudden. Brilliant there from Ringrose. Oh, it's a terrible pass. A better pass. They could have been right back up there, but it's a good run here so far. After all this, is a brilliant finish. The fantastic run by Ringrose, but then the pass from the follow-up ruck was just terrible, and they've been pinned back. But Ireland are still alive, and they've won a penalty. Gareth Davies, what have you done? Ireland have a penalty. They can go to the line. They can still win this game. George North, the man penalised for not rolling away. This game is still alive. What has he done? Billy Burns has kicked it out in the full. I can't believe that. Billy Burns has kicked it into the in-goal area and given away the game. How? He's just kicked it straight dead. Andy Farrell can't believe it. I can't believe it. Billy Burns, all he had to do was get that out, and he's kicked it straight dead. And Wales have won the match, 21-16. What a match that was. Ireland missing the chance to come back, but Wales deserved winners from a fantastic defensive effort. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have a review up very quickly, so make sure you keep it locked on Forever Sports.